राइट। सो द ग्रोथ लैब जिस ग्रुप के आप सब लोग हो, सो वेलकम टू द सेशन एंड टुडेस टॉपिक इज ओवरकमिंग फियर ऑफ जजमेंट एंड फेलियर. राइट, सो आई बिलीव something very important. Students, adults, everybody, goes through this phase at some time or life. But as is customary, let's start with the code of honor. Right? Freedom. Live a free life. Work because you want to, not because you have to. So, what I want is each one of you should follow your passion. जो भी काम आप करें, you should feel that you are enjoying it, you are having a free life. Then, number two, contribution. Yes. See, whatever we learn, the society plays a very important role in our lives. So we should make an effort to give back to the society what you want from it, right? If let's say I have been studying all my life and I am working with students, so every student is part of the society. So in a way, when I help the students, have the feeling that I'm contributing back to the society. The same goes with you people. Then number three, commitment. Have the will to achieve your goals and the failure mustn't discourage you. तो ये वाला तो आज के टॉपिक के साथ मैच भी करता है. द फेलियर mustn't discourage you, राइट? और जो भी हमारे लाइफ में गोल्स हैं, बड़े बड़े गोल्स, लेकिन हमें उन्हें अचीव भी करना है. द बिलीफ शुड बी देयर, द फेथ शुड बी देयर, द कमिटमेंट शुड बी देयर, action should be there, right? Then consistency. All actions must be focused and consistent. जैसे जब हम कहीं घूमने जाते हैं और डिस्टेंस ज्यादा होता है तो हम गूगल मैप लगा लेते हैं, तो हमें बेस्ट रूट से ले जाता है, तो हम कंसिस्टेंटली उस पर ट्रैवल करते हैं. तो बिल्कुल, क्योंकि एवरी किलोमीटर दैट वी पास हम अपने डेस्टिनेशन के नजदीक हो जाते हैं. तो हमारे एक्शंस ऐसे ही होने चाहिए, इसी तरह से कंसिस्टेंट होने चाहिए, दैट वी आर मूविंग टुवर्ड्स आवर गोल्स. सो दैट कंसिस्टेंसी इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड ऑफ कोर्स देन कम्स द विजन, that have the vision to build your career, right? You don't have to look for jobs. You have to build careers. तो स्टेप बाय स्टेप आप अपना करियर बिल्ड करते हैं, एंड देन फाइनली रिकग्नाइज योर पैशन एंड लिव विद इट. तो शुरुआत यहीं से हुई थी कि फ्री लाइफ तभी होगी व्हेन यू लिव योर पैशन. बट आपको वो पैशन पहचानना होगा. इन द फर्स्ट सेशन ऑल्सो वी वर्क टूवर्ड्स recognizing, living our, understanding our passion, because पहला सेशन था हु एम आई. पहले अपने आप को पहचानो, तभी आप आगे बढ़ जाओ. सो दैट इज माई कोड ऑफ ऑनर. I would definitely suggest all of you to have your code of honor and share it in the community. Let's have the understanding कि सब लोगों का code of honor क्या है. Okay, with that, moving further, once again, now earlier it was 230 episodes, I've already crossed 240. The amazing, now 90 countries have been passed. So I am enjoying every bit of my podcast. So I've added a few more interesting episodes. Go and listen to them. Then, now, coming to the main thing, turning fear into courage and failure into growth, right? So that is what this is about. Now, because as I told you that we have to make, every session count, every session interactive, and of course, it cannot be done without you people. So for this, let me play a short video with you for you now today, and let's see. Watch it carefully, and then we'll understand. We'll talk about it.
I love this one. Fail early, fail often, fail forward.
Are you able?
It's always
Are you able to hear?
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit frustrating to me when
but
people
we
have
cannot see
a negative
anything.
relationship with failure.
You can't see anything. Okay.
Like not the video.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. Let me share that video screen again. Now, can you see the video screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, let me replay it again.
I love this one. Fail early, fail often, fail forward. It's always a little bit frustrating to me when people have a negative relationship with failure. Failure is a massive part of being able to be successful. You have to get comfortable with failure. You have to actually seek failure. Failure is where all of the lessons are. When you go to the gym and you work out, you're actually seeking failure. You want to take your muscles to the point where you get to failure, because that's where the adaptation is. That's where growth is. Successful people fail a lot. They fail a whole lot more than they succeed, but they extract the lessons from the failure, and they use that the energy, and they use the wisdom to come around to the next phase of success. You gotta take a shot. You have to live at the edge of your capabilities. You gotta live where you're almost certain you're going to fail. That's the reason for practice. Practice is controlled failure. You're getting to your limit, getting to your limit, getting to your limit. You can't lift that. You can't do that. Until you get to the point that all of a sudden your body makes the adjustment, and then you can do it. Failure actually helps you to recognize the areas where you need to evolve. So fail early, fail often, fail forward.
So, that was the video. How was it? Did you understand the video?
Yes.
Okay. So, now let's begin with the task. Listen to me very carefully. What stood out to you from this video? Only one sentence. Starting from Raghavi.
Failure is okay.
Failure is okay. Very good. Please note it down. Raghavi, note it down in your notebook. Failure is okay. Tanmay.
Don't let people stand you down.
Okay. Please note it down. Aditya.
Keep at it until it's done.
Cool. Super cool. So make a note of whatever you have said. See, I've got so enlightened souls attending the session. It's very important understanding this video because, see, usually we say failure is the opposite of success, right? When we ask opposite of success, you say failure. But frankly speaking, in life, it is not true, right? Why? Because failure is not the opposite of success, it is a part of success. If you want to be successful, you must learn to fail too, right? See, he said, fail early, meaning don't wait until you are ready. Start now. For example, जब आप स्कूल में हैं, कॉलेज में हैं, how many of you जब एक टेस्ट होता है, कहने को हम बेशक पढ़ रहे होते हैं, लेकिन टेस्ट होने से पहले डर लगता है, अरे यार क्यों ले रहा है टीचर टेस्ट, क्या उसके बिना नहीं? हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव दैट फीलिंग कि यार टेस्ट से थोड़ा डर लगता है? Okay, thank you, Tanmay, for the acknowledgement. The other two are brave people, right? टेस्ट से डर नहीं लगता है। और घर पर, let's say when you are preparing for your 10th board exams or 12th board exams, how many of you did practice test very diligently at home? या टीचर जब कहता था बेटा प्रैक्टिस पेपर कर लो, तो आप में से कौन ये जवाब देता था, पहले कोर्स कंप्लीट कर लूं फिर दूंगा टेस्ट? हु यूज्ड टू से दिस? अभी कोर्स कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ। व्हाट इज हैपनिंग टू आदित्य? ओके, सो एनीबडी
No,
नाउ?
I don't. Yeah,
हाँ,
I
नाउ
fear
यू नो।
exams also, not like in-home non-graded test. That I don't fear.
ओके,
But yeah, the final test that I anyways fear a lot.
देन ही सेज फेल ऑफन, दैट इज द मोर, देखो, जिसने कभी टेस्ट ही नहीं दिया या जिसने कभी एक्शन ही नहीं लिया, वो तो कभी फेल होगा ही नहीं। तो फेल ऑफन का मतलब है द मोर यू ट्राई, द मोर यू लर्न। And then he said, fail forward. That is, every mistake carries a lesson that pushes you closer to your goal, right? That is what fail forward is. Because when we commit errors, then we know what went wrong. That is how we rectify, we learn. Jesse, when we give the example of Thomas Alva Edison, he failed 1,000 times before successfully inventing the bulb, right? So, see, he was able to sustain himself for 1,000 times. So, somebody asked, कि भाई ये क्या? कहता, I why I kept on going? Because I was able to remove the possibilities कि भैया ये इससे नहीं बनेगा, इससे नहीं बनेगा. I was trying different options, and then after the 1,000th time, I was able to create that bulb, and then the rest is history. So he's been, you know, he's so famous. He's respected all over the world. So I would say every success story we admire is built on a mountain of failures. The only difference is they didn't let fear stop them, right? Or how many of you love trekking or hiking? तो जब शुरू करते हैं तो लगता है ना अभी तो रास्ता बड़ा दूर है, बट यू आर नॉट अफ्रेड, यू स्टिल, और यूजुअली आपने देखा होगा इनिशियल फेज में बड़े जोश में होते हैं, फिर उसके बाद थकान होनी शुरू होती है, एंड द लास्ट स्ट्रेच इज सुपर टायरिंग, बट वंस यू रीच द टॉप, फिर हम भूल जाते हैं कि हम कितनी मुश्किलों से यहाँ पे आए. देन वी एंजॉय द समिट, वी एंजॉय द सीनरी अराउंड, राइट? So that is what happens is, so let me get back to the presentation part. Okay. Slide. Let me open it again. Hmm. So this is what we were talking about. Now, coming to understanding the fear, right? See, when fear of judgment is actually wired into us. You know, thousands of years ago, if a tribe rejected us, survival was tough. आपने हो सकता है मूवीज में देखा हो, कहीं पढ़ा हो कि जो पहले तो ट्राइब्स होती थी, क्योंकि सिटीज नेवर एग्जिस्टेड, सिटीज केम इनटू एग्जिस्टेंस लॉन्ग आफ्टर द सिविलाइजेशन स्टार्टेड हैपनिंग। तो उसमें अगर कोई एक पर्सन जो ट्राइब में होता था, अगर उसको रिजेक्ट कर दिया गया, तो उसके लिए जीवन बहुत ही मुश्किल हो जाता था। तो वो कहीं ना कहीं ह्यूमन साइकी में वो चीज दैट हैज ऑलरेडी एंडेड स्टिल एग्जिस्ट, दैट दैट सर्वाइवल ब्रेन स्टिल विस्पर्स डोंट मेस अप, और दे लाफ एट यू। बट द ट्रूथ इज most people are too busy thinking about themselves to think about it. Many a times हम सिर्फ इसलिए ट्राई नहीं करते कि लोग हंसेंगे, लोग क्या कहेंगे, राइट? एंड लेट मी टेल यू a part of my life. I wanted to make videos for YouTube, बट मुझे लगता था अभी अभी पूरी तरह से आता नहीं, अभी परफेक्शन नहीं है, राइट? और आई नेवर डिड। मैं ये भूल गया कि वर्जन 1 इज बेटर देन वर्जन नन। सो फाइनली व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड मेकिंग वीडियोस, दो आई विल से परफेक्शन इज स्टिल नॉट देयर, बट it's very much there now that the videos are there and I am improving. If you go to my YouTube channel, I have 700 videos now, right? So if I watch my first video and watch the 700 video, there's a huge difference. So that means I am learning. I'm still learning, but you can say, if I say every new video is the next version, so I have 700 versions, a collection of 700 versions, right? So that is the beauty of taking action. So never shy away from taking action, because only then you will get success. And I would say, think of one time. Okay, let's reflect on your journey also. Listen to me very carefully. Think of one time you felt judged, right? How much of it was real and how much was in your head? Just think about it, and I would love your sharing. कि कब आपको लाइफ में लगा, आपके किस एक्शन से, किस एक्टिविटी से, कि लोग आपको जज कर रहे हैं, या कब कोई ऐसा इंसिडेंट हुआ? आई वुड लव टू हियर, गिविंग यू 1 minute to think about it. And then, who is ready, please raise your hand or unmute yourself and start speaking.
तो एक बार क्या हुआ था कि मैं एट्थ में था सर।
हाँ
तो मैं
हाँ।
हमको ट्रेडिशनल पहनने बोला था, तो उस दिन मेरे को मालूम नहीं था कि ट्रेडिशनल बोले तो मतलब हाफ हाफ पहनना है, बोला ऊपर का कुर्ता पहना और नीचे पैंट पहन के आ सकते हैं।
ओके।
उस दिन पूरा ही ट्रेडिशनल पहन के गया मैं, पैंट धोती वीती सब कुछ। ऐसा मतलब ऐसा सब लोग हंस रहे थे मेरे पे। और
अच्छा।
मतलब और वो बहुत मतलब लगा, उस दिन लगा था बहुत जज हो रहा हूँ मैं।
ओके। बट
हाँ,
आप एक बात बताओ, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल थैंक यू आदित्य फॉर शेयरिंग दिस।
बहुत बहुत
लेकिन
तकलीफ था उस दिन।
अगर हम जब हम अपना ट्रेडिशनल अटायर पहनते, डोंट यू थिंक वी शुड एक्चुअली बी प्राउड ऑफ इट? इजंट इट?
यस, वी शुड बी
राइट।
प्राउड।
यस। तो you actually, if you look back, you did nothing wrong. भाई ट्रेडिशनली तो पहना है, एंड frankly speaking, we can wear our traditional attire every day. Why on a special occasion, isn't it?
Yes.
तो दैट इज हाउ, अब आपको उस दिन, दो आई वुड से you were in the best attire because you were in the traditional attire, but still the feeling of getting judged जो है spoiled the fun on that day, isn't it?
Yes.
So thank you for saying that. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Moving forward. Then, see, let's talk about how failure helps us win, right? क्योंकि हमने कहा ना कि it makes you move forward. If you once again recall the Will Smith video. Now, if you can see, who are the famous failures? Amitabh Bachchan. आप कहोगे अमिताभ बच्चन a failure? J.K. Rowling, who doesn't know? I'm sure almost every kid on the planet has read the Harry Potter series, right? Then Michael Jordan, the great, great legend of basketball. Lekin let me share in detail कि why I am saying these people like failures. Because in the early days, when I would say in the struggling days, when Amitabh Bachchan, and we know हम अमिताभ बच्चन की एक्टिंग से ज्यादा उसकी आवाज के दीवाने हैं, राइट? ठीक है, द वे ही स्पीक्स. So he went for an audition to All India Radio and they rejected him कि आपकी आवाज अच्छी नहीं. And today he is the voice of India, right? I believe most people in India would recognize his voice, isn't it? The baritone he has. So that is, so he learned from, he didn't shy away. वो डर के भाग नहीं गया. उसने जिस चीज को ऑल इंडिया रेडियो ने कमी बताई, उसी को उसने अपनी स्ट्रेंथ बना ली. एंड दैट इज व्हाट सक्सेस इज ऑल अबाउट. So that is how we say कि failure is just a stepping stone on the road to success. Then J.K. Rowling. आप सोचो, हैरी पॉटर की सीरीज को पब्लिश करने पे 12 रिजेक्शंस आए थे. 12 पब्लिशर्स रिजेक्टेड द हैरी पॉटर बुक. और आज इट इज द बेस्ट सेलर. तो आप सोचो, was it J.K. Rowling's failure or the failure of those 12 publishers जिनके पास वो पहले गई थी, राइट? तो अब वो सोचते होंगे काश हम ले लेते, हम पब्लिश कर देते, तो वी वुड हैव मिंटेड मिलियंस. एंड देन माइकल जॉर्डन, ही इज एन एनबीए बास्केटबॉल प्लेयर, और उसको अपने स्कूल की टीम से ही निकाल दिया गया था दैट ही डज नॉट प्ले वेल, and he's one of the greatest in the world. So whose loss is it? The high school teams, right? So see, this is what happens. So if I may ask you to think of a personal mistake, just think about it, that actually taught you something. आप अपने लाइफ की, कहते हैं ना, माई फेवरेट मिस्टेक, कि मैंने अपनी लाइफ में कुछ ऐसी गलती की, हो गई, हो जाता है, बट जिसने मुझे कुछ सिखाया. सो आई वुड लव टू हैव योर शेयरिंग.
Um, I would
ओके.
basically say it's a two-part thing which has taught me. First, keeping personal and professional life, separate,
ओके.
like not getting effect of either of those to the other. Second, value of first impression.
वैल्यू ऑफ
First impression.
फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन. ओके. ओके. ग्रेट, ग्रेट. तो क्या सीखा आपने?
So basically, yeah, so I made a mistake that I mixed my personal life or whatever problems I had in my personal life that impacted my professional life. So that made a very bad impression of me. And the first impression itself was very bad. Even though uh, like my professional life was long-lived, yet that impression stayed to the whole time being. And all of my good was overshadowed because of what the first impression was. So it's kind of interlinked. And both of the things I learned, like there should be more control on yourself. And yeah, that would have been one of the biggest issues.
Okay, okay, great, Tanmay. Thank you for sharing this. Anybody else? आज राघवी इतनी शांत क्यों है? Hmm? Can we hear something from राघवी? कि राघवी ने पास्ट में कोई गलती की हो फिर बाद में उसको लगा हो इससे मैंने ये चीज सीखा. There was some learning for her in that mistake.
I can't think of anything right now.
Okay, never mind, कोई बात नहीं. But definitely, I would love that after the session, you post it in the community group, right? Think about it. It will be interesting to read, right? Okay. Then moving further, because see, you have to understand why we are doing this. Because failure doesn't mean the end. आपने देखा होगा, न्यूज़पेपर में पढ़ा होगा कई बार, कुछ स्टूडेंट्स अनफॉर्चुनेटली एग्जाम में फेल हुए, सुसाइड कर ली. गर्लफ्रेंड ने मना कर दिया, सुसाइड कर लिया. माँ बाप गुस्सा हो गए, सुसाइड कर ली. टीचर ने डांट दिया, सुसाइड कर ली. नौकरी चली गई, सुसाइड कर ली. अरे भाई, देयर आर अदर ऑप्शंस, राइट? तो that is because all those people who did this, या मियां बीवी में झगड़ा हो गया तो या तो बीवी ने सुसाइड कर लिया या हस्बैंड ने सुसाइड कर लिया. तो दैट मीन्स दे बिलीव दैट इफ दे फेल्ड it is the end of life. Whereas the truth is, it means the beginning of learning. भाई, let's talk about an exam. अगर एक एग्जाम में मार्क्स खराब आ, कहीं ना कहीं हमसे गलती हुई होगी. आप उस गलती को दूर करो, अगली बार आगे निकल जाओ. कई बार तो ये भी होता है, यू आर इन द रॉन्ग स्ट्रीम एंड आफ्टर अ कपल ऑफ इयर्स यू रियलाइज, अरे ये तो गड़बड़ हो गई. बट देन वंस अगेन इट इज नॉट द एंड ऑफ इट, बिकॉज आजकल इतनी सारी यूनिवर्सल फील्ड्स हैं विच आर सो इंटरेस्टिंग. और हो सकता है ओवर द इयर्स यू इवॉल्व. कुछ साल पहले कुछ और इंटरेस्टिंग लगता था, आज कुछ और इंटरेस्टिंग लगेगा. तो यू स्विच, एंड देन विथ एवोल्यूशन इज पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ. क्या पता जब आपने कोई नया प्रोफेशन चुना, अब अगर हम उसकी बात करें केएफसी के ओनर की, you know, when the KFC brand actually got successful, the KFC owner was 65 years old. उसकी लाइफ में सक्सेस देखो कब आई, राइट? बट जब आई तो पूरी दुनिया में फेमस हो गया वो. तो ही kept on working, right? So that is what we talk about, that every mistake carries a hidden gift. कई बार रिलेशनशिप में फेलियर्स आते हैं, तो वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड हमसे क्या गलती हुई. क्या हम बहुत ज्यादा डिपेंडेंट हो गए या हम बहुत ज्यादा एरोगेंट हो गए? एनीथिंग कुड बी द रीजन. तो वी शुड ऑलवेज लर्न फ्रॉम मिस्टेक्स एंड टेक इट एज अ बिगिनिंग ऑफ लर्निंग, नॉट द एंड ऑफ लर्निंग. आई होप आई मेड माई सेल्फ वेरी क्लियर, राइट? Then let's reframe it now. Now, this is like the interesting part, that how to reframe our learning. So that is, I would say that we would want to reduce the power of fear by exploring the outcomes. So this technique is known as, if I fail, then what? डर तो उस आउटकम का ही है ना. हम फेलियर से क्यों डरते हैं? एक्चुअली हम फेलियर से नहीं डरते, हम उसके आउटकम से डरते हैं, उसके रेपरकशन से डरते हैं, उसके आफ्टर इफेक्ट से डरते हैं. राइट? तो once again, please take out your pen and paper and write down one fear. आप किसी भी चीज से डरते हो, just write it down on your sheet for yourself. And
Then what's
once,
the most likely about? In most likely?
I didn't get you.
So there is most likely also written below best case. So what's that?
I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that.
Hmm.
We'll reach out to that. But first of all, write down a fear. Because the name of the technique is, if I fail, then what? So, whatever fear, it can be anything. It can be the weirdest of the fears. Right? जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल, कोई कहेगा मुझे अंधेरे से बड़ा डर लगता है. इवन दैट इज अ फियर. आई नो पीपल जिनको हिट की बॉटल उठाने से डर लगता है, कि जो उसके ऊपर इंसेक्ट्स बने होते हैं कहीं काट ना ले. राइट? ओके, डन. All of you, have you written one fear? Okay, now the three questions. One, worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is कि if that fear comes true, तो बुरे से बुरा क्या हो सकता है? For example, if anybody says, I have a fear of public speaking, let's take that example, and accordingly आप अपने आंसर्स को फ्रेम करें. तो उसका वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो क्या होगा? हम क्यों डरते हैं पब्लिक स्पीक? पीपल विल लाफ. आई विल बिकम अ लाफिंग स्टॉक. राइट? स्टेज पे खड़े होके आप नहीं बोल पाए अच्छे से, ज्यादा से ज्यादा यही होगा ना कि लोग आप पे हंसेंगे. ठीक है ना? दैट इज द वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो. तो आपने जो अपना फियर लिखा है, उसका वो फियर, वो डर अगर सच हो गया, तो व्हाट इज द वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो? प्लीज नोट इट डाउन. डन? Once you are done, just show a thumbs up. Okay, good. Thank you, Tanmay. Thank you, Raghavi. Waiting for Aditya's thumbs up. Good. Now, second, best case scenario. कि भाई वो फियर तो आया ही नहीं, आप बेकार में डरते थे, ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ. तो in case of, once again, because our example is on public speaking, the best is people clap. I got a standing ovation, right? And people are inspired by the way I did. So that is the best case scenario. So as per your fear, आप लिखिए. You might not write complete sentence, just scribble so that you understand what it means. And once you are done, thumbs up. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you, Tanmay. Thank you, Ram. Okay. And now we come to the most likely scenario. That is, I'm being realistic because I went for public speaking for the very first time. Yes, worst could have happened. People laugh. And the best could have happened that I got a standing ovation. But let's come to reality. It was a mix. Some people listened very attentively. Some people were still talking among themselves. They didn't care that I was speaking on the stage. But you survived. Or if I say, I was the person who was doing public speaking, I was the one who was on stage. So I got mixed reaction. There were a section of audience who clapped. There was a section of audience who didn't care. But I was able to complete my speech on stage, my act on stage. So that is what is the most likely scenario, right? Only these three things can happen, right? So you write your own most likely scenario. So you know what, why we are doing this task? Because when we map it this way, the fear shrinks. Because when we don't do this, we are always thinking about the best case scenario or the worst case one. That worst case scenario makes us feel so bad that we kind of go into depression, right? Because the truth is, the worst case is rarely life ending. If anybody laughed at us, it is not the end of my life, right? I'll get another chance to go on stage. I'll get another. So I have to keep on trying because obviously, whenever I'll keep on doing that activity, I'll improve. And of course, the best case scenario is the one that inspires us, that is worth trying to do because we are always aiming for the best case scenario, right? Yes or no? Agree with me? Now, moving on to the next, facing fear in small steps. Yes, because we have now understood the technique that how to worst, best, or most likely scenario. But now the fear is there because let's say we are doing some task for the very first time. So, how to face it? How to win over our own fear? Or we can say, how to make our fear manageable? So, I say, see, you don't climb a mountain in one jump, you climb step by step. And the same is the case with fear, right? For example, because the example is going about public speaking. So I would say, I fear public speaking a lot. So that is my biggest fear. But if I have to break this fear and come over it in steps, what I would do as a step one, I might say, okay, I'll share my idea with three friends. Like if I have to give a small speech on stage, I might ask my friends or I'll tell my idea, the content of my speech, and take their feedback so that I can actually, you know, get the feel what they have to say about. They might say again, the same thing would happen. All the three might love it. Or the second case, all the three didn't like it at all. The worst case scenario. And third, one said, oh, it's awesome. The second one says, blah, blah, 50-50. ठीक है, right? And the third one says, bekar, it's all rubbish. See, once again, the same technique. But yes, you now know there will be people who might like my idea because you got mixed reactions, but you still have time to actually improve on it. Then in the second step, maybe before going to the stage, I'll share my thought in my class, in the closed group. Because let's say I have 40 students in my class, whereas in the auditorium, there'll be 500 students sitting, including the teachers, right? So I shared because after step one, maybe I tweaked a little, I improved my idea a little, I improved my vocabulary, my sentences a little, and then spoke and got the feedback from that second group. But I survived. I survived those 40 students. I could stand up to them and share my idea among them. And then in step three, I will not be afraid of standing on stage and doing my presentation. Right? So that is how we can break our fear into those three steps. Right? So, coming to the end of this, if I want to conclude the presentation, then I would say, let's see, courage does not mean no fear. It actually means action despite fear. So that should be our approach. That every time you take a step, fear loses its grip. You become a winner. So I want you to say it aloud. One affirmation. Please repeat with me. I learn. Say it aloud. I learn. I grow.
I grow.
I rise. Let me repeat. I learn. I grow. I rise. Please say it. You can unmute yourself and then say it. Let the universe listen to us what we are saying. I learn. I
I learn,
grow.
I grow,
I rise. There
I
should be
rise.
motivation. जोश होना चाहिए. वो उड़ी पिक्चर में देखा था ना, हाउस द जोश.
Hi, sir.
Hi, sir.
Sir, yes, right. So when see there should be conviction. आप, let me tell you, affirmations work, but they only work when you have belief. आप अपनी लाइफ में कितना ही बड़ा गोल बना लीजिए, अगर आप उसको अचीव करना चाहते हैं तो आपके मन में 0.0001% का भी फियर नहीं होना चाहिए कि
Down,
ये नहीं हो
auntie.
सकता. राइट? What you have to understand is full faith. Leave it to the universe, leave it to the Almighty. कैसे होगा? आपने सिर्फ अफर्मेशन किया, आई लर्न, आई ग्रो, आई राइज. राइट? सो the challenge for you for this week is do one small thing you have been avoiding out of fear. Maybe you already have written it on your sheet, that one fear. So start doing it, start avoiding it, and write down what you learned after you avoided that fear, because that is your first victory, right? So that is your challenge for this. And then you can definitely think about that what is that one fear that holds you back in school, in your career, in your life. and what is that one step you could take against, right? So, with this, we come to the end of today's session. And if you have any queries, please come forward. और हाँ, एक चीज तो I forgot to ask. What happened to last week's assignment? I made you do 3 affirmations every day in the morning. आप में से किसने किया? And if you, okay, so what is your experience?
Sir, मेरा I don't know. Reason being, last एक week बहुत खतरनाक गया है in terms of news. So
Okay,
I don't know if I got a benefit from that or not. Although I did it every day.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
but
So what were
yeah,
your 3
but
affirmations? Can you share it with
uh,
us?
so majorly all of my informations were regarding my studies, and
Mhm,
I wanted to also, you know, I'm working with a student organization, so basically about that we achieved
mhm.
something good in there, and yeah, I did well in my studies. Majorly the
No, see,
all
why
three were
I'm
about that.
asking you, because I want to know the language of your affirmation. Because
Hmm.
none of you shared it in the community. Otherwise, I could have got the
True.
chance to correct the language. Because the affirmations do work, first thing, but they have to be done, written perfectly in present tense. That is the second thing. And third, कई बार क्या होता है? For example, मैंने कहा, my affirmation, let's say, I earn 1 lakh rupees per day, right? मैंने बोल दिया. But the moment I said it, that I earn 1 lakh rupees per day, the second thought that came was, यार होगा कैसे? Now, if that thought comes, your affirmation will never succeed. For example, if I talk about Raghavi, let's say Raghavi says, I won the Grammy Award, right? But after that, uh, how will I do it? Then that will never happen. So, affirmation says that when you say the affirmation, then your behavior is as if the job is done. You're already living it. Then that thing materializes in life. When we do something new with doubts in our mind, that will you will never be able to achieve. So that is why many people say affirmations don't work, because they have two thoughts at the same time. One, the positive one, that is with the affirmation, and the second, the negative one. तो कैसे होगा, क्या करना होगा, you don't have to think. Yes, you have to take action, no doubt about it, but you are taking action with the belief, because I've already done it, तो काम तो मुझे करना ही है. That should be the approach. For example, मैंने ये नहीं कहा कि राघवी सिंह I will win Grammy Award in 2035. No, वो तो फ्यूचर में चला गया. She has to say, I won the Grammy Award. जीत चुकी है वो. और फिर she has to behave as if, yes, she has won. Start signing autographs for friends. ठीक है ना? तो similarly, we shouldn't say, I will earn. I will earn. No, I earn 1 lakh rupees per day. I earn $1 million per day. And just believe it, and the things will happen. That is why when I asked you to post it in the communities group so that I can help you achieve your goals, achieve what you have written in your affirmation, right? Any more questions? Aditya, you wanted to say something? You said you were doing it, so what was your experience?
Uh, so it was good. I gained like nothing spectacular happened, but I gained little bit of confidence in me.
Okay, first of all, there is nothing which is known as little bit of confidence. You
Confidence in me,
gained,
sir.
yes, you gained confidence. That is a positive. And
Yes,
once again, as we talked about today, we are taking one step forward, है ना? One step each day. So if 1 week is making you feel that you have gained confidence, so see, if you keep on working on it, you will be super confident, isn't it?
yes.
And
That's why I
how ma-
read every day, every night when I go to sleep. I do my brush and I read it.
great, great,
Yes.
great. And how many of you have changed your tea bars? Okay, Tanmay
T-bar,
has done it. I told you, na, one of the sessions, you have to increase your self-esteem by taking the T bar to the top, and it should be balanced. Who are making sure that they are doing it? Okay, thank you, Raghavi. So always keep in mind, if you continue doing it, that will also help you gain confidence and improve your self-esteem.